Interesting. Greetings Wanderer, this is Atlas here and welcome to the Void. Today I'm going to be reacting and breaking down a song called OhKami from the Rising of the Shield Hero anime original soundtrack. This is one of the coffee personal requests that I had scheduled for this month, and this one comes from Sir Paradigm. And the comment says, "Greetings Atlas, I was hoping you would cover OhKami from the Rising of the Shield Hero anime soundtrack. This one is composed by Kevin Penkin, who did the soundtracks for this anime, Tower of God and Made in Abyss, which you have covered in the past. I really like this track and it shows how versatile of a composer he is. It is very different from his other works. I hope you enjoy it." Well, Sir Paradigm, thank you again so much for your incredible support and your request, of course. Yes, I have done previously some tracks from Made in Abyss. Most recently, I did the Rumble of Scientific Triumph, but I've also done Transcendence and Hanezeve and Tomorrow. But I'm gonna leave the latest one, which is the Rumble of Scientific Triumph, in this card right here. But I'm gonna leave all of them in the description of this video, right? OhKami from the Rising of the Shield Hero original soundtrack. Boom. Yes, this is very different from Made in Abyss. Way more tamed. Interesting. That was a really cool saxophone passage there. I like that. The saxophone is just such a cool instrument. The strings are more open now. That was said, right? Yeah. I think there we have it. Yep, there it is. Okay. I was very surprised towards the end, with the saxophone solo. Sounds very 80s inspired, That's a passage that you would hear very commonly in the 80s, even in TV series and such, stuff like that. And you can hear also that the strings are very constrained for the most part in the song, but it start to open quite a lot towards the end when the jazz, I associate always saxophone with jazz, but anyways, when the saxophone does the lead at the end. But we're going to be talking more in depth about the dynamics in the instruments and so on and so forth in the breakdown, so let's break it down. Alright, so in this particular breakdown, I would like to talk about the more tamed, straightforward nature that this track has. Certainly it's an orchestral track for the most part, but what's the most interesting to me in the song, of course, is the saxophone that there is in the song, which is of course the instrument that takes the track out of the box, let's say. But before I jump into explaining more in detail about the saxophone and the nature of the track, I want to play some of the parts in the guitar to get a more of a feeling of a track, and probably my understanding of it will be a little bit more deep. So let me get my guitar. Okay, so let's try the melody in the piano at the beginning, and let's try to figure out the chord progression and stuff like that. Okay, so let's see. No. Yeah, and I also think, let's see. Yeah, I think that the chord progression for the most part is just on D minor, and you have on top the melody. When in doubt, play slow. Yeah, that's basically the gist of it at the beginning. But when it turns more interesting, of course, it's when the saxophone comes in. I think that for the most part, the saxophone is doing things within the realm of the pentatonic scale. That's why it sounds so, well, not necessarily bluesy, but yeah, like more rock-oriented sort of track because of the pentatonic scale. And in fact, towards the end, when the saxophone starts doing this solo at the end, I think it's starting to do like groups, odd groups of notes, like fives. I think I heard like the composer did like runs with groupings of 5 notes. So that would be something like this. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, as you can hear, it's like 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. Odd groupings of notes are more challenging to play because they're odd, obviously. That's what the name entitles. Yeah, I think it's doing pentatonic things for the most part in the saxophone. Okay, so now that I got a feel of the track, literally, I could say that the first of all, I love the piano. I've said this multiple times in different breakdowns. So having the intro with the piano and also having this other layer of the piano doing another sort of a counter melody to it, it got me interested in the track from the get-go. I think that the sort of a motif or leitmotif of the song it's in the piano, of course, because we hear it from the beginning, but then it has some variations as the song goes in length, which of course it's pretty cool because it adds like it doesn't get stale. You don't always hear like the same melody over and over. The composer decided to add variations to it within the same scale, I believe, but just adding variations to it just to mix it up, just to not make it predictable or boring. For the most part, the string section is just there as a supporting role to, at least for half of the track, or even a little bit more than that, it's just doing, some sustained spiccato sections with one note. And towards the end of a song, we have some variations also in the string section with the cello doing some accents that mimic sort of the percussion pattern that we hear towards the end of a song. Now, of course, the most interesting part to me was the saxophone addition to the song. Like I very much said before, I think it's, for the most part, the leads and the solo, it's very much into doing pentatonic stuff in there. But also, I think it had that those very specific runs with odd groupings of notes in fives, I think. Which it's something that you would hear very commonly in jazz, they like to do these odd groupings of notes like 5s, 7s, 9, 10s, and even weirder than that. So I found that a touch to it. And of course, I'm not saying that the saxophone is necessarily like a jazz instrument, although it is very much used in jazz. But in this case, it sounded more like a rock sort of layer to it instead of jazz. Obviously you have like the odd groupings of notes in there thrown in there to give it a little bit more of a flair towards the jazz part, but for the most part it sounded more like a jazz solo that you would hear in a rock song or a ballad or something like that, very specifically from the 80s or from the early 90s, I would say. But it was a great touch, and I don't really know when this song was with this anime was released or not, but certainly that that saxophone, those saxophone leads and solos gave it like that flair of a little bit of traveling to the past, because for the most part the other sections like the percussion section and the string section was very much there just to as a supporting role. Everything else was just focused, or the the spearhead of the song was basically in the piano and of course in the saxophone when they were doing also the melodies in unison. It was all about that. So I think I'm gonna give this track a silver badge. It's almost a golden badge because I really liked the saxophone included in the song. I think it was, that element was the thing that really brought it for me, okay? But before I go, I would like to show you my newest merch, and here is one of the shirts that I have available right now. It's one of the colors, and of course this particular design was inspired by Dark Souls and Berserk. And I have a hoodie here. This is one of the colors that I have available with the same design. And mate, the quality of the shirt and the hoodie, like the fabric, it's incredible. So by making a purchase, you have the chance to be featured in the intro of one of my videos. The only thing you have to do is take a picture with what you bought on, send the picture to the contact email that is in the description of the video, and you will have a chance to be in the intro of one of my videos. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and share it with your friend. Also, please don't forget to visit my Patreon, my Ko-fi profile, and my Ko-fi store in case you want to support my work further, and my Teespring merch shop. And of course, ex nihilo nihil fit.